What ends up happening is either Kariba sits here the entire time waiting for players to stack on him super hard and he takes a ton of shield damage, or you guys in the back line, the people who get here last, like the Lucio here, or the people behind the Lucio, you're going to get hit by direct impact rockets from Pharah. And that's just Pharah, right? Then there's other DPS to worry about. Now you're worrying about Tracer going over here into Yard because you guys are giving up a lot of space. You're worried about maybe a Sombra hacking your pack bottom left, and now if you try to retreat to pick that up, you kill yourself. Like, there's so much that could go wrong up here because you guys aren't playing a DPS heavy comp or just regular goats. So you really want to just fight on point and deny all that from them. Now if they're playing a Pharah, we have cover, things like that. So just don't go with me Reaper.
Back.
And obviously they're playing goats, but the problem with this is we can't really abuse wall up here either without them being able to just play around it correctly. Or if they play around it correctly.
Main.
Yeah, so we call main now.
Go. On top.
This is unfortunate though because they may, if they're good, they'll take control of point, and now we can't abuse our main wall.
We got one.
We got one. One purple, that's another.
Right down.
Eva slept. She's out of mech up there.
We're 2 for 2.
Right.
Go to point.
Baby D was half on the right.
Yep.
Go to
Sorry,
point.
energy, she's purple.
I'm back. We're down on main here.
Hey, back. You're play it safe for now.
Speed out. They're not gonna come through. They see you.
Do we want to dry push this or?
Never dry push with anything resembling goats, because you're gonna feed a lot of ult charge into their team. You can dry push in the sense that, like, you know, let's say we know they're gonna grab the bomb next fight, then we can go in and we can let the bomb wipe us so that they don't retain ult charge, right? Like, bomb wipes us, nobody gets ult from that because the bomb just killed everything. They took all the ult charge away. So you can do that. But even in that case, you want players sitting outside the grab, maybe trying to counter farm them to build their own ult economy back and see if you can actually win out in the ult trade there. But dry push implies the intention of walking in, playing extremely fast, never going for soft resets or pauses or, like, you know, pulling back for heals. Literally just inting into one player on their team so that it looks like we're really trying to kill that player, making it look like a real fight and baiting, and seeing if they'll blow cooldowns. Like, but here with goats, that's kind of risky to do because if they don't do something like grab bomb and they do something like instead shatter, their entire team's going to build 2 to 3 ults now off this fight, which is counterproductive to a dry push. Like, that's the exact opposite of what you want from a dry push. So very careful with calling dry pushes with comps that resemble goats or have like around the same amount of HP.
Good.
Dry push is really good with like dive and some comps. Like really low HP DPS. Once we got grabbed here, I probably wouldn't beat just because you should assume you're going to lose the fight. And there it is. So now we're missing beat. And anybody else who bullied an ult there, you probably messed up.
Alright, I don't think... Oh, we got ult split. I don't think Reaper's gonna work.
I'm gonna stay on it for the ults, but...
Do you want me to switch off Lucio?
No, stay Lucio.
Okay, so in the case that they grab Diva bomb us, we want to play behind Ryan's shield as much as we can. Ryan wants to hold shield the entire time, and right before bomb goes off, you want to just let it kill your team, to be honest. Like, if you have the time allowed in the time bank, like if you can do that, you know, anything other than last fight, basically. Because they're blowing away the best combo in the game, and like we talked about earlier, they can't farm ult charge into you. So your chance of winning the next team fight's not too bad.
Alright, guys.
Yeah, these trans.
I'm on right.
If we can put a bubble on our Reaper while he blossoms, I can nano him.
Well, try not to be so aggressive. You'll win.
I got blizzard.
I'm down.
Well, try not to be so aggressive.
At this point, they have control of point, they have control of choke, so our Mei is kind of counterintuitive unless we just catch a player off with wall, and even then, if we sit at main the entire time trying to like look for an opportunity to do that, it's kind of pointless for us because we're just losing value. You guys could now, because we know they're playing main so hard, and what they should be doing is playing middle on high ground. You should always do that on this map, even if you're playing Megoats. But we could take a pathing through kitchen here on this door, or far right on top, and take that door too. And that gets us much closer to point. And if they're playing down low like this, which they're really not supposed to do, and we go top right, we have control of high ground now, which is really good for us. So for us to keep going main now is weird because we know they're controlling that area. So getting through it's going to be a difficulty for us.
Yeah, these trans.
Zarya.
I'm on right.
If we can put a bubble on our Reaper while he blossoms, I can nano him.
We'll try not to be so aggressive. You'll win.
I got blizzard.
I'm down.
Use it.
You lost Lucio?
Speed up.
I don't think you guys should be calling to use ults after a player dies because you're not in last fight territory. Like 72% is not last fight. You guys could easily reset and get back on point now. That's 28%, whatever 28 times 1.4 is, like around 40 seconds. So there's around 40 seconds left on the map. We have plenty of time to just reset here, and then we get to keep Blizzard. So next fight, it's like almost a guarantee that we win as long as everybody stays alive.
No, I mean, like, just get out. We
Lucio.
So it's even, but they got the first pick,
There,
and they're playing goats and are missing key parts to our team, so we're gonna lose this fight.
Come behind you.
They're hard pushing. Now Zarya gets staggered. We have a player back capping.
That's not it.
Come back to me.
That's probably the best thing you could do, to be honest, but
We need to target, guys.
it's not gonna be enough. I think you guys just lose this team fight now.
Go in, Ryan.
Oh, it's just
Nice play.
enemy now.
Go to point. Somebody go to point. Go to point.
Yeah. All right. So really big but really simple mistakes, which is good because we can easily fix those. So your pathing just didn't make sense on first team fight for playing this comp, right? We want to be able to abuse the wall, so we go straight to point. On the team fights thereafter, we don't go main. Maybe okay. The next team fight after first team fight, because you guys should expect they're not going to hold main because that's a bad play from them. I could see you guys going main, right, and trying to beat them 2 point from high ground. Maybe we speed from choke to point and try to beat them there and catch a player off with wall, or deny a player LOS with wall, whatever. Like even if it's just one player. But after the second team fight, when we knew they're making the mistake of holding very close for some reason instead of playing high ground, which is very beneficial for any team, we should have been going and taking that high ground from them every single time. So after the first two fights, that's when we want to take high ground and kind of like play slow, figure out, okay, how can we abuse this high ground to pressure them? Can we put players behind them by having them, walk across the bridges and play behind, whatever. But pathing is a little weird, and our ult economy was just really overkill on fights we were already losing.
All right.
If we're in a grav, I'm not saying just give up, right? But I'm also saying if we're in a grav and they have a bomb right next to us, we probably don't want to commit too much because we should just assume if they play it correctly now, we probably lose that. So you don't want to you don't want to commit too much to that. And then there are fights where we lose a player and then we use ults, and we didn't have to. But yeah, and I guess to touch on that too, if they did this like almost never, but if they grav and they just put their Zarya right in front of Karibo and they put their Brig shield right in front of Karibo can never shatter out of grav. Like he'll just shatter the Zarya bubble or the Brig shield. So now Yazi on their team, their Ryan, can just pin Karibo every single time. So the shield we're relying on to block bubble doesn't exist anymore, so we just get killed by Diva Bomb every single time. It's like if they play this correctly, grab should be even more detrimental to you guys than you're used to. But most teams at this level don't do that, where they put the Zarya and the Brig right on top of the Ryan, so he's just useless and can't shatter. So then the other Ryan's not scared to pin anymore. But anyway.
So right there, would you say that the Reinhardt should be the one calling pathing?
It doesn't have to be. It could be anybody, right? Because well, I say anybody. It could be multiple players. Because it doesn't really matter. Like in this case, like okay, let's say Ryan had shatter, right, and he has a very specific play he wants to go for. Then he should probably call pathing, or he should interrupt with a Lucio call and say like, hey, actually, can we go here because I want to do this, right? Just quickly get it out there. But it's not like really that he needs to call every time. A lot of times you'll have something like your Genji will hop in comms, or like he'll kind of flood comms for a second and say like, hey, actually, can we do this? And they'll explain why. And if you can do that efficiently without wasting too much time, that's great. Because like your IGL shouldn't be mad that he's getting overcommed if the play was good. And if the play wasn't good, you guys like live and you learn, right? And you don't do it again, or you do it again if it was beneficial. Like all the time I used to overcall my IGL, and never once I think did he get mad because like, most of the time the calls were good if I decided to like step in and make that call, but if occasionally it didn't work, he would just be like, no problem, we'll watch VODs. And like that's a really good attitude about it. So, if the play that we're looking for is based on your ultimate, right? Any of you, like if we're looking to like, okay, we need to beat late after they blade and do this, then maybe Lucio says, okay, well, you guys go here so I can hide beat. Or if we say we need a hard engage and then nano blade after they're focusing our tanks, then your Genji might say, okay, well, if we're going to do that, can we go this way? Because like anybody who has the ultimate that we're relying on for the next fight or the win condition, feel free, if you have a better play than what's called by the IGL, to step in and like say like, hey, actually, can we do this? Because your IGL probably does not play your hero better than you do, right? Like, so you're going to know like the intricacies of, oh, well, actually, for Blade to work on this map, I need to do this. Or like, oh, they have this ultimate, so if we go this way, that'll actually counter my ult. Like, you know, you should bring that up. Your IGL is going to call very basic, very like simple pathing. You know what I mean? So don't feel obligated to always be quiet. You know, at the same time, unless you really know what you're talking about, probably don't chime in and like overcome your IGL. But you know, if you really feel strongly about the call that you're making, then by all means, it shouldn't be that big of a problem.
Maybe do 2 main tanks and throw a Winston in there.
Jaeger, go Diva.
Yeah.
So this map's really good for quad and really good for Zen Goats. Looks like you guys are playing double main tank. Have I ever talked to you guys about how to play this comp like correctly?
I think on this one all we did was play
Alright, guys,
goats. We were playing goats.
Call your
okay.
Call everything.
Yeah, we didn't go monkey
I'll call everything else.
Reinhardt.
Can you go in?
Gotcha.
Go right side. Let me go first.
Yep.
Alright, we're in. Call target.
Orbs on Ryan.
Go Ryan.
Bring starting right.
Diva. So I'm Zen.
Zen on.
Left.
Arya's left side.
Diva.
Keep pushing. Push on him.
I'm gonna go cap.
I'm a cap point.
Get the baby diva.
Back,
On me.
Ryan. Come back.
Guys,
Yeah.
if
So we're
y'all
good.
see me
So
pushing
we don't have
up,
Ryan
guys-
now. We need to play passive. Goats first goats without a Ryan. We're in a bad spot if they retake early. We got a good pick on Lucio, so we're going to delay their retake a bit. But Lucio gets back quicker than Ryan by a couple seconds. So we're looking to just play passive here. Other thing is if they peek main with their Ryan shield and we're trying to shoot back into them, right? So they're main and we're here on point and we're trading ult charges. We're trading, you know, Zarya orb, trading Lucio, left clicks, whatever, anything. They have a shield to stand behind. So we get no ult charge. And every time we take that trade or we peek, they do. So we really don't benefit at all from peeking right now until Ryan gets back. Does that make sense?
So
guys.
right there, Ty,
Go
when
with
we were pushing, when do we stop over? When do we stop committing? Like,
If at any point you feel like the kill isn't guaranteed or like you're going to have to sacrifice your own life for it, you just don't go for it. You know what I mean? Like,
because we had 4 people right there, and that's why like once we get to a certain point, or once we think we get the kill, or we don't get the kill.
yeah, it's less about map geometry or like where the map is and more just like, oh, I'm putting myself in danger and my team's the winning team. So me dying here is like even worse than if we were the losing team. Because if you're the losing team and you're dying, like, all right, whatever, we're going to lose that anyway. Whatever, like maybe I got the kill on the team who was winning. That's good. But if you're the winning team, you know, like this fight, you guys got 3 picks almost immediately. So you knew you're going to win this fight, right? We'd rather keep you alive or keep the Rhine alive, like, because we're the winning team, then get a kill on a player who definitely doesn't have like ult. Like, you know, I could see maybe, oh, well, I chased him and traded because he had ult, and I wanted to deny that. I could kind of see that argument sometimes. But here, like first fight of the map, that guy you killed probably had 10 ult charge. You know what I mean? So in general, you should value your life over the losing team's life.
It's
Busan, Nepal,
And then we can use your Ryan shield later to farm them back. But even if it's not Ryan, even if it's anybody else, like I guess a good example of this is on King's Row, right? In pro play, you've probably seen it. I have scrims of my old team. I could send you guys all the time. Like on King's Row, you cap first, you put 1 player on point, you put 5 players forward immediately. And anybody who spawned, like anybody on the defense who spawned inside Metro, like in the train station, or, you know, they're walking through Streets Phase trying to regroup with their team, that 5-man pack just like pushes forward very hard and kills that player because you're just like a meat grinder. You're just 5v1 over and over, and you keep killing, and you keep delaying the reset. So it takes them much longer to get back and start fighting on cart. So even though you only had 1 on cart, the first fight's gonna take place around the same place because you just keep like meat grinding them. And you probably, if you guys have been around for a while, any of you probably remember the team Selfless, who would cap first one in King's Row, and they would just meat grind all the way back into 3rd point and like 3rd point spawn door. And what happens there is now you got to try to keep Selfless from selflessing you, like from meat grinding you. So you may do something like ult them, so you can just finally get out of your spawn because you're tired of getting spawn trapped. Okay, now you killed them, but by the time you get to cart, they've already been back to cart for 5 seconds because they're so far in your spawn. It's like that's beneficial. And you're gaining something from that. Like they can't counter farm you when you have a Rhine shield in your face, you're gaining ult charge, you're delaying respawns, that's really good. But on the other side of that, you know, Selfless, if at any point they felt like, this is starting to get sketchy, we haven't gotten a pick in like 15 seconds and they're starting to regroup. I think if we stay up here as 5 too long and they group as 6, they might like push back into us and they might kill us because they have 65. So Selfless is also really good at cutting their losses, like when the whole meat grinder thing didn't work, right? And it's the exact same thing. They did that because they're the winning team, so they're trying to kill the late spawners or the forward spawners. But if they couldn't get that 100% guaranteed, they would never go for it because that's not worth it since they were the winning team.
I'm gonna cap. I'm gonna cap.
I'm a cap point. I'm a cap point.
Get the baby diva, baby diva, baby diva, do it.
Back
On me.
Here, Ryan. Here, Ryan. Ryan. Come back, come back, come back.
Beat this
Guys, if y'all see me pushing up, guys, you know, go with me. Don't just leave me alone.
You pick
Yeah,
up.
so the argument can be made there that if you left 1 on point and put 5 forward, Karibo might not have died. But at the same time, I probably would just value you guys making sure no matter what that Ryan stays alive. So we probably split 3 on point.
Yeah, and then we had them coming in as well, so that was.
Yeah, so here's the problem, right? That's why I said, like, as soon as we saw Ryan die in the kill feed, we got to be back, like, way back, because now they're coming in, and if Ryan's with them, I can kind of see a shield. Really bad for us, because, like, you know, like I said, they just meat grind us, and we can't do anything back to him except for break a shield, which is not enough. So we play passive, wait for Karibo
Hey,
again.
guys, back up.
Should be back
up.
pretty
back up,
soon.
back
Play
all
safe
the way out.
until we get Ryan. Play safe until we get Ryan.
Gotta give
Okay.
point.
Check, maybe even give him point.
We don't want to let them
touch it,
flip.
touch it, just
I don't think I'd let them flip. Lucio, this is probably where you're going to want to wall ride on the top for contesting off pillar and off high ground. And even if not the Lucio, the Diva might have wanted to fly in. And I don't know if you have a DPI switch on your mouse. Even if you don't, just fly in, contest the point for a bit, wiggle in the air with your shift so you're hard to hit, and get back out. Right? We don't want you to feed your mech or even feed too much health. But if you two, because you're very mobile heroes, can just delay it a tiny bit, our Ryan probably could have touched in time for us to never have to flip. It's a safe play for you guys to just let it flip, and I don't mind it too much. But I don't think this is the team you have to respect that much. You know what I mean? Like, I think if our Lucio and our Diva contested this, Ryan could probably have gotten back in time, and we would have probably not have lost any critical health on our Lucio or our Diva.
Go back
Play
all the
safe
way out.
until we get Ryan. Play safe until we get Ryan.
Gotta give
Okay.
point.
Check, maybe even give him point.
just touch it, just touch it, just touch it.
No, we got it. We got it.
Ready?
Orbs on Zarya. Orbs on Zarya. Killer. She's not charged.
Look at their
Bubble, no bubble.
No,
I have rally. I have rally.
She has grab. She has grab.
we do.
They're probably sitting on Shatter, Beat, Trance.
We have everything.
They have everything, but probably
Everything but Grav.
will grab.
I have Trance here though. I'll try to
Hammer
stay
too.
separated and or no, let's try to get a beat off on the Shatter. Play a little safer, kitty. In anticipation.
Sling Ryan.
Come on. Nice. Big.
At bubble in 3.
Right there, how close should the Lucio be to the
Zarya,
tank?
Zarya, Zarya.
Bubble in 3.
Sling Ryan.
A little safer.
Say one more
kitty.
time.
Right there, like how close should the Lucio be to the tanks? Or he should be further back.
Anticipation.
If you're afraid of them shattering, Lucio can be back here because he has the defensive ulti to stop our team from getting killed. If he's not afraid of shatter, we can be pretty close up here.
Sling Ryan.
I say afraid, it's probably a bad word. Like,
Nice.
if you respect the shatter in the sense that it can potentially wipe your team, then him playing off to the side is fine. If you don't respect the shatter in the sense that you think either they don't have it, or you think your Ryan can, like, and your Zarya and your Diva can work together to definitely block it, then, like, you know, he can be up here. But yeah, depends on the ult economy. I haven't been paying attention to their Ryan's ult charge.
Big.
At bubble in 3.
Zarya, Zarya, Zarya. She's behind. She's behind.
He has shatter, so I think he does.
Okay, yeah. So your Lucio playing off to the side of the team is fine. You don't want to be too far back. Like, Zen can play far back because he doesn't need to be in the middle of the team. And so if they shatter, the preferable play is that we just, because he's so far back that he wasn't in range to get shatter, he just trances in and blocks the pin from the Ryan. That's kind of an easy play to make, honestly, if you're playing far back enough. But Lucio does need to be with the team because his aura is what heals, so like, or speeds. So he needs to play off to the side, not back. Or at least wall right the entire time. Okay, Pfizer's kind of lagging. There we go.
On our zone, on our zone.
Orbs on her. Orbs on her. Orbs on her. Got her. Nice.
Down.
Diva
Ryan,
scored.
Ryan,
Diva
Ryan.
scored.
Trancing for you.
Thank you.
Okay, don't boop Diva there.
Get in this. Orbs on the Zen.
Get the zone, get the zone, get the zone.
Push
Okay,
it
you
up.
guys are doing a better job of not just like inting into their Ryan. and instead like focusing
even
on
behind
the
us,
heroes
guys.
who overextended without
Let's
cooldowns.
go,
That's
let's go.
good.
Come back, come back, come back, come
You're
back.
definitely doing that better.
Back.
Being us back.
Good job, guys.
So, hammer and B.
Everybody healed up.
Okay.
You're gonna have grab again?
Yeah, I'll have grab again. They didn't hammer there, did they?
No, they
No.
didn't.
Okay.
Play behind me to this side. Right,
Play a
guys.
little separated to block the shatter.
Big shatter behind, shatter behind.
Nice. Run one, run one.
Sorry, behind us.
Keep shield up, keep shield up.
Okay, nitpicky, but every time we trance aggro or beat aggro into them, there should be a call like almost immediately, like this hero, this hero, this hero, so everybody can focus it. Biggest problem I've been having with almost every team this week is they'll defensively ults, and you can turn a defensive ult into an aggro ult as long as you play with your time correctly. Like the trance, you have 6 seconds to go very aggressive and get back to your team before like you're overextended. So we should, like, if our Lucio beats or is in trances, we should as a team be calling like the exact same hero to go on, because there's no detriment. Like, especially if you're trancing, you're not gonna die through trance for the most part. So like we can now focus a hero who normally wouldn't be able to focus. Like we should be overextending. And obviously here you guys kind of did it. And nothing had to be said, but this is one team fight of the next like 3,000 you guys are going to take like over the course of Overwatch. So it should be immediately calmed so that we can easily clean up a kill. I don't know. And it's kind of nitpicky, but I also think it's really important.
Keep shield up, keep shield
Because
up.
it keeps your team from playing passive during support ults.
Oh, you're the only one that
Yeah,
got.
on it. You backed up a little bit. Just play for the star right now. We'll regroup outside the point. You die.
I'm going.
We can't.
Run, run.
That shouldn't be a losable fight.
Keep shield up, keep shield up.
Oh, you're the only one that
Yeah,
got.
on it. You backed up. Keep shield up, keep shield up.
I think we're 3-3 there.
We need to pull back
Keep
almost
shield up, keep shield up.
immediately. This Zarya is 100 charge behind us, and that's a very important call to make, because even if you think something else is going to do more damage, at the end of the day, we're worried sometimes more about ult charge than damage in the first place. And 100 charge Zarya just farms grab right back up. So like, it's absolutely feasible for Zarya to get grab in 30 seconds. Like 100%. I played in a meta that didn't have nearly as much HP as Goats, and I was getting grabs in 30 seconds because there wasn't a shield sometimes or something like that. Like, but now there is an HP with tons of, or there is a meta with tons of HP. Zarya can very easily farm grab, so we gotta focus on that.
Shield up, keep shield up.
And right here would have been a good call. We knew Zarya's behind us.
Oh, you're the only one that got.
She's not 100, she's about 80
Back up a little bit.
based on how much she's glowing, but that's still, she's just farming right now.
Just play for the star right now. We'll regroup outside the point. You die.
I'm going to stall here.
Okay.
Fuck.
I'm waiting off to the side. Low right again.
Wait for Devo.
Alright, regroup.
Go one with Rally.
Yeah, I'll rally up over here.
They're coming. They're pushing.
I need to back up. We don't have our diva.
I'm back.
Yeah, we're here.
Full force.
Alright.
Let's rotate low right.
Go right. On me.
Speed on it, speed on it.
Venus.
Go behind them. Shatter. Big shatter. Big. No, it was.
Rally hero.
Okay.
Venus.
Go behind them.
I like this passing. This is good. But we get
Go
split
behind
here.
them. Shatter. Big shatter. Big. No, it was.
Rally hero.
Lucio's down.
I think. How did Flacker get a pick?
Shatter.
Isn't he
Big
score
shatter.
low?
Big. No, it was.
Rally hero.
Lucio's down.
He just like just kicks Alicia. I don't know.
Transient.
Nice.
Good job.
Break Discord it. Get on Ryan.
Run, first
Right,
run.
right.
On point. Try to get on point.
Ryan's aboard, Ryan's over. He's one.
Run, no bubble.
Nice. Watch Zarya behind on our side.
After patch like 1.25 or something,
He's one.
they made this bug. It's not. It doesn't seem like one because it makes sense, but it's a bug in the sense that like for the first 2 years of Overwatch, it was never there. Like after 1.25, Zarya's, if you sit on top of the Diva Bomb, like you actually just walk into it and you bubble yourself, it doesn't just block in a cone anymore. Like based on where you're at in the bomb, it actually just like eats the bomb entirely. Like it just ceases to exist because the game, like I guess, is like reading it as inside your bubble. So your bubble just like covers it up, even though it's much bigger than your bubble. I don't know how it works, but it does. So like you can just walk over a bomb and bubble yourself, and as long as you're right on top of it, it just takes it out of the map. Like it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He's one.
On the bubble, on the bubble.
Nice.
It makes sense. I don't mind it, but it's weird to me
Watch
that
Zarya
they
behind. Zarya
did it
behind on
now.
our stairs.
I don't know if it's intentional or
She's
not.
high charge. She's high
We gotta
charge.
get the Zarya. She's high charge.
Let's do it. Do it half.
You just have break for heals.
On me, get on me, guys. Sorry, on me.
Yeah.
I need help. Okay,
I'm coming.
y'all call Zarya and y'all
Nice,
left me.
Zarya's still right. Zarya's still right.
That's fine. Stagger.
Nice job. Nice job.
I can get there.
I have grab.
I have bombs
Call it
soon.
out. Call it out.
We
No,
have
we can
grab
combo.
and coming up with Diva Bomb.
Like pushing main again.
Move back a little bit. Move back a little bit.
Yep.
They
Yep.
should
Yep.
have beat and Zeno. I think they yeah, they grabbed already. They
Yep.
should
Yep.
have beat and Zeno. I think they yeah, they grabbed already.
Mhm. Move back a little bit.
Watch
Move
for
back a
shatter
little
as
bit.
well. Grab it in 3.
Orbs on Ryan. Orbs on Ryan.
No.
Diva out of mix. Singe
Orbs on Brig. Orbs on Brig. Orbs on Brig. Wait, watch that.
Behind you.
I'm brig.
Come back, Rebo, you're low.
Brig one.
Mine.
Kill the Zen. Kill the Zen. Nice.
They're gonna shatter. Hit shatter. Be careful.
I got him.
1-1. Nice. Zarya.
Yeah, I'm
Got
on
Diva
him.
on point.
Watch
Diva on
point.
point.
With Lucio.
Orbs on her. I have Orb on Lucio now.
Goats or quad DPS?
Doesn't work.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah, Soldier works.
No sniper here is weird. If you're gonna play bunker, I like Orisa Diva. This is better than Orisa Hog. Like, just objectively, I think Orisa Hog's bad. Almost always. But no sniper's weird. Even if Justin Ash, I think that's probably the play. I don't mind Junk. I don't mind Soldier, but I don't like them together because not having like clear one-shot potential on this map, or the ability to like play off of sucks from your Orisa. It's like if you have a Hanzo or a Widow, they can just headshot off of it. Is probably not the best. So I'd take definitely Widow or Hanzo, and at the worst Ash if you just can't play those heroes. Like if it doesn't fit your guys' hero pools, and that's fine. But you do want one sniper here at least.
I go
The
Ash.
Junkrat or the Hanzo?
And of Soldier and
Soldier.
Junk, Junk's probably the worst of the two. Like, just as far as the meta goes. Because if they play something like Winston Goats and just dive on top of us, Junk has a really hard time, like, not only rotating and getting away, but dealing damage beforehand if they play it correctly.
Soldier.
Yeah, Soldier works.
I go
But if you're like
Ash.
Hanzo or Widow, Widow can grapple out,
Um,
Hanzo can just Stormbow the
Junk
Winston
has
down.
one.
Hey, Kitty, if this doesn't work, you go
Where we going, guys?
Ana and I'll go Zen.
Okay.
Where are we going?
Left side.
Are they goats?
Rest of goats.
Okay.
Is he right?
Shields low.
Freshie.
Moving shields low.
Freshie.
Moving up.
Hog, help hog.
Okay.
Put a point.
Trying.
On point.
Where's the dead?
Unlucky.
Ooh, almost got full
Zen slept. Zen slept.
He's one.
Watch the Lucio behind you guys. Tagged him once. Tagged him twice. Got him.
Alright guys, on me.
Coming back now?
Everyone heal up. Heals on point.
Wait, you guys do play Ash. Okay.
Almost back with you guys.
You got
It's
Brig
Hog.
peeking. She's alone.
Left side brig.
Hey, watch the flanks. Make sure
Almost
they're not
pushing right.
coming
Somebody's
out.
pushing
She's
right side.
half. Break
Yep.
half.
Hog behind.
Move back, Wolf.
Hog on a hook.
Not everybody on
Just
hog.
hooks down.
Wrist on point. I'm
Brig behind. Brig behind.
tiring.
Go,
Brig behind. Brig behind. Just hooks down. Yep.
Yeah.
Behind Hog.
Everyone heal up. Heals on point.
Are we missing a play right now? Did I not notice somebody get killed? Oh, okay. Hog died. Yeah.
Lucio behind you guys.
Alright guys, on me.
Coming back now?
You
Oh,
should,
look.
in general, be taking space here. Like on these outer, like you don't want to give us up to their team. They kind of just walk straight down main and set up, and we just had a shield fight, and that's very coin flippy. So I think that should have been contested a bit harder. But I can kind of see why you guys will play on point with Hog dead. I still don't think we need to play this preserve though. I think we can probably do quite a bit to just deny them from playing that far. At least have like Ash playing kind of aggressively over here on top left mega, the one on the outside that can get you like booped off, she can play that angle, kind of conservatively, not peeking too much, but at least hitting dynamite from that angle, maybe forcing them to try to rotate on her. Maybe they think it's a free kill, so just baiting a rotation. We kind of just let them walk in, and now we're just gonna take a shield fight and hope we win.
Heals on point. Heals on point.
Yep.
Almost back with you guys.
Got
It's
Brig
Hog.
peeking. She's alone.
Left side break. Left side break.
Hey, watch the flanks. Make sure
Someone's
they're not
pushing right.
coming
Somebody's
out.
pushing right.
She's
side.
half. She's half. Brig
Yep.
half.
Behind, Hog behind.
Move back with. Move back with.
Hog on a hook, Hog on a
Not
hook.
everybody. Not everybody.
I don't understand what the comp is at all. It did, like somebody said Arista goats,
Wrist on
and
point.
I didn't believe it, and I think it actually
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Brig behind. Brig behind.
It's literally just goes with Arista. This is terrible.
Tiring.
Shield low. Shield low. Shield low. Shield low.
I'm low.
Yeah, I was really confused.
No, this isn't good. There's no
Guys,
like
focus the shield. Focus the
reason
shield.
to even like think about this one. No,
That's
that was a
very
big
nice.
Hey,
voice
Bob,
hit
Bob.
Try to eat through the shield if we can. I can't show
On
until
fire,
it's
they're on fire.
Arista one.
All right, good job.
Yeah,
good
so
job.
that's where
Hold.
Junk gets a
Hold.
lot of value, is playing in secret.
Hey,
or
Bob.
in,
I have nano here.
We have nano?
Chubby, I don't know if it's
I'm
called
gonna
in the
throw it
day.
on
We're gonna have
Hog.
sound
Um,
barrier.
But that shouldn't happen for us too much. Like we shouldn't
They
really
should
be able to
have-
do that too
but,
often.
So, be careful.
Okay.
That was a good play though.
Watch the flank.
And I'm gonna halt left side.
Right.
Jaeger.
Hey, let's try to get a hook onto Zen so we can bait out trance.
Hey, Hook.
Hey, on
Let's
right,
go,
right,
let's
right,
go
right,
back
right.
here. Nice. Diva's half. Diva's half.
Hogs on the left.
They're all pushing behind.
Push,
Watch out,
push, push, push,
watch
push,
out,
push.
left.
Oh.
You ulting.
Couldn't hear you.
Oh.
You ulting.
They're all pushing behind.
Team's definitely
Watch
under
out,
pages right now.
watch out, left.
Oh.
You ulting.
Couldn't
Really
hear you.
negligible, not really a big deal, but you needed the wall ride up the wall here on the left side to avoid
Watch
this.
out,
Push, 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 push.
left.
Oh.
You ulting.
Couldn't hear you.
I'm down.
Hog behind us.
We're slow, we're slow. Yeah, Hog's still up, Hog's still up, follow back.
That's fine. Just regroup.
Coming
Just
back with
regroup.
beat.
Okay, they're not taking it. All right, keep going. Keep going. We have numbers.
I'm coming back.
Hog wasted ult.
I got pushed back
Good,
too
come
far.
back, come back, come back, come back. Last
Just
point.
Hog and Brig. I'll have tire.
Nice.
Keep pushing up. Keep pushing up. Keep pushing up.
Hog and
We
Brig.
push off
Hog
this.
and Brig.
Push off
On me.
this.
On me.
Use
I'll
Hook
have
right.
tire.
Break slept. Break slept. Break slept.
The loose shield's down.
Break shield. Break shield. Break shield. Break shield.
It's back.
Coming in with tire.
She's half. She's half.
I'm on fire.
What's all? What's all? What's all? I can heal. I can't heal. Hey, regroup. Back up if you can. I'm getting out.
Yeah, we're
Let's take this. Break slept.
The loose shield's down.
Use
I'll
Hook
have
right.
tire.
Keep pushing up. Keep pushing up.
If we get supercharger before this fight, we definitely want to go from left side so that we can abuse space to guarantee supercharger gets value the entire time. If we go to point and we use supercharger, things get really clustered and we have a hard time like burning out the heroes we want to burn out. And we're also just worried about our life the entire time. If they trade back into us or like use secret to rotate over and pick us, whatever. Like, so if you have supercharger, we're gonna go left side, abuse the space. It's a 50% damage buff to every single hero who gets the beam.
Hog and
We
Brig.
definitely
Hog
just
and
win shield
Brig.
war if we go that way.
On me.
Use
I'll
Hook
have
right.
tire.
So here we're
Break
calling
slap,
like
break
we push
slap.
off this.
Push off
That's
this.
not necessarily wrong, but I don't think I think you still want like shield here and supercharger.
Use
I'll
Hook
have
right.
tire.
Break slept. Break slept. Break slept.
The loose shield's down.
Break shield. Break shield. Break shield. Break shield.
It's back.
Coming in with tire.
She's half. She's half.
I'm on fire.
What's all? What's all? What's all? I can heal. I can't heal. Hey, regroup. Back up if you can. Brig on me in the back.
They're all on us, guys. Oh fuck! I was gonna switch goats, but we. I'm gonna switch
Don't
to
go
Ryan.
through
I'm gonna
this.
switch to Ryan. I'm gonna switch to Ryan.
This comp's built to
Okay.
be good.
W on them.
No, that's not true. I keep thinking they're playing bunker. They're playing Arista Goats.
Hog weight up. Hog weight up.
We could play 3 tank into this, like Hamster, Diva, Winston, and it just loses because their Arista shield becomes
Straight up.
useless.
Don't lead.
Wait for me. Wait for me.
I'll have tire.
I still have beat.
I have nano here for you, Ryan. Unless we have hog. No.
Alright. We're in purgatory right now. We need to no one needs to peek this because you don't win a trade against Arista when you try to peek. Like almost ever. Like any comp with Arista, you just kinda lose. We need to be playing either end of this, grouping as a team, waiting to reset, even grouping down here if you're afraid of getting sucked or something, which I guess could be something to be afraid of. And we immediately, as a team, as soon as we get 6, W key in. Like we only hold W. And you just have to get on top of them. That's the only way to beat this comp. You're not going to outspam it for the most part, at least not in this angle, because if you do break Orisa shield, they just rotate out and put another one down at any point. Like it's kind of a negligible trade for us to try to beat this. And we talked about it before. Defender's advantage. They already have crosshairs placed. They already have players, positioned where they want to. They have a crossfire going. We don't win an ult charge trade whenever we peak, and we're attacking. So you kind of want to avoid this situation. Nobody should have gotten picked here. And it's not just the player who got picked's fault, it's everybody's fault for even being up here taking this trade in the first place. This is also why, or one of the reasons why D.Va is so strong and why I think it's better than Hog on this map. If you try to retake this map with Hog, it's going to be pretty rough sometimes. Like, you're not going to have Matrix to get your team around corners if they are hard spamming. If they're playing double sniper, you can never peel for your teammates. Like, you can never go aggro onto a double sniper with a Hog. You're just forced to play on point. I don't like it too much. This is also a problem with Junk. But I guess to a lesser extent.
Unless we have Hog? No.
Oh,
So he gets picked. Nobody can peek now. We're at 70 something, 76. Gotta stop this. We can't win this trade.
Damn. That's a lot of
Reloading.
We should go right.
Yeah.
Orisa. Heals. Push up on that.
I'm on point. Oh, shit.
Push up.
Go to point.
Nice. Good point.
What we just did could have happened at like 60% when we first started that push before Hog got picked the first time. The exact same thing could have happened. Maybe we don't have tire. It doesn't really matter though. If we just beat aggro push W into them, W key, they probably lose that fight.
Push up.
Regardless of this tire pick or this really good boot, we probably still win.
Come on me.
Purple.
Watch for the Lucio boot.
On me. Oh. Come back.
Come
They're gonna win the map, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, they took it at the end.
Okay. I just think that comp you guys play there has a lot of faults. Like, if they play double sniper and we're playing a Junk, his job is going to be so hard the entire time. And then if we're not playing D.Va, not only can we not get back in, or it's going to be much harder to get back in, but like I said, we can't aggress on their DPS. We can't peel for our supports when needed or peel for our DPS so they can peek. I think we're missing a lot. Generally, with Orisa double DPS there, that's enough damage by itself. So Hog's overkill. Yes, you're missing the suck pool combo, but you can do that with headshots.
They're probably in a group.
On this one, they take like 20 minutes to come back. So
okay, I'll go ahead and scope. Visor's being really laggy right now, so give me like 2 seconds.
well, a lot that I see too is that I know you talked about it last time on Dorado that they're spamming choke. We can go a different way, and it seems like we do that a lot. They're spamming something, and we just keep walking into them instead of going right or going left. And
yeah, so that's like why I said Junk is kind of like the D.Va thing to a lesser extent. Is like when you have a Widow or a Hanzo, they could have went left side, like on that far left towards coast, and if they just peek, the threat of Hanzo like stormbowing something in the back is really great. It's like their team's really scared of that, and they have to be, they can't just be up in our face the entire time, because if Hanzo hits that flank and he gets the stormbow off on somebody, they're probably gonna die. So they have to respect that and play a bit more passive. So it gives us more space to get in, and that's all it took. Right? You could send a Junk that way though. What are the chances he hits a grenade and a C4 on something at the exact same time and kills it before he gets picked, or before something sees him and catches him, right? His mobility's worse over there. Hog may just rotate and pick our Junk over and over and over, right? So gotta be kind of careful. But yeah, like it's the same thing. You can do so many things to break a chokehold like that. So I don't like those comps too much. At least not in that sense. I don't like the idea of we'll play this comp to control a choke. I think controlling a choke is a bad win condition almost always. Oh yeah, I do like bunker, but for a different reason.
No, we're playing on a paintball right now.
Oh shit, way too far.
Just be ready for the Matrix on him.
Just keep warm on him as well.
It looks funny he runs in. Oh my goodness.
All right, guys.
Scatter.
Remember call outs, good comms. Let's do this.
I'll go scout a little bit.
We
I
see.
see Diva, Zarya, Ryan, goats, Zen goats.
Zen goats.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna push W on us, so.
Alright,
Bastion,
just
shut up.
keep bashing up. I'm gonna play a little farther back.
Break a shield, break a shield,
Put
break a
down.
shield.
Orb's on Zen. That's all I can see right now, though.
Pulling out, pulling in.
Ryan's half. Orb's on Ryan. Orb's on Ryan.
Diva and mech.
Ryan's one. Ryan's
No, no,
one.
no, 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 no.
Dead.
Nice.
Nice.
Orb's on Zen. Orb's on
Two one,
Zen.
nice.
Oh, Baby Diva's alone.
Oh, fire,
back.
Zen killed Zen, nice. Zarya
Orb's on
one.
Zen- Zarya, nice.
Just break, just break, just break.
Brig, half one. Got her.
Nice job.
Good
Good job. Ration's down. Can we? Oh, we don't have Lucio never mind.
I'll pop soon.
Keep an eye out for switches.
Look at him run, look at him run.
They're staying
They're
in.
gonna let us have it. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming.
They're coming through left door. Diva's coming left door. She's alone.
Orb's on Ryan. Orb's on
Diva,
Diva.
Diva one, Diva one, Diva one. Nice.
They're all right side, they're all right side.
Orb's on Ryan. Orb's on Ryan. Orb's on
Zarya
Ryan.
one, Zarya
Fire.
one. Got her. Good run. Nice fire, nice fire. Lucio.
Break, break, break,
Lucio.
break, break, break.
Still dead.
Lucio. Halting, Lucio, just get Lucio.
Watch the
I'm
Baby
killing
Diva.
Lucio. Nice burn.
Kill this Baby
Good
Diva.
job.
Nice.
Good burns.
Ty.
Yeah. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I gotta turn you up. Like quiet. Okay, ask one more time. Honestly, both Ana and Zen could probably play back there. But it's
Burns.
Hey, we got some.
no, honestly, you probably do want Ana up here with your team, and you want Zen back. Probably flip it.
Some of us with
Because
best
Zen has
comp.
the same impact regardless of where he's at, like on this map, as long as we're pushing. But Ana needs to be with team so that she can not only nade self but nade team if needed, like almost immediately in case they try to pressure us early. You know what I mean?
Alright, get off card. Wait for everybody.
If we were playing normal goats against normal goats, Ana playing farther back is a bit fine because we can kind of handle ourselves if we get rushed on the front end before Ana has to throw a nade in right away. But with this comp, almost immediate, like if they rush, we have to be ready to go like ASAP and then counterplay.
Alright, we're here.
Alright, set up Wolf, and then I'll get on top.
I got my bomb.
I have I should have
Yep,
my
same
ult
comp,
here.
same comp. Try to get Orb on main tank first.
So they should have Shatter and probably Diva ult.
Yep.
Pulling left, pulling back, put him.
So yeah, there
Orb's
it
on
is.
Ryan. Orb's
I'm
on Ryan.
bombing.
Ryan asleep behind.
Ryan's one. Ryan's one. Ryan's one. Ryan's one.
got
Ryan's one.
three.
Behind. Shatter us.
Good,
Got one, he's out.
Let's run behind.
I'm sorry.
No heals.
They have three down.
Ryan got the
One's
duelist.
out.
I'm sorry.
I got Ryan too. I got Ryan.
Sorry, low.
Sorry, half.
If you can,
Red
back
point,
off
red
on
point.
man.
Diva on me. I'm out of mech.
I'm dead.
Not winnable. Not
Still on me.
winnable.
She has
Back.
no fly.
Back.
Throwing an egg.
She's one.
Down.
I'll try to finish
Not
her off.
winnable. Don't set up. Don't set up.
So Ty, hear that we had
Bastion.
5
Yeah.
ults.
Good.
Should we have
Yeah.
switched off of Orisa or should we just? Because we stayed Orisa, but.
Yeah, I
should
think
we-
between Orisa and Bastion, Orisa is what you want to go because like now Orisa trying to retake is gonna have a hard time making space for herself because like it's a static shield, right? You put it down, your team can only play behind that shield until you put another one down. So you're kind of like inching. Then the problem is if they break shield, we really never move forward for the most part. But you want Ryan to be able to recontest. Ryan's like the ultimate get back in hero. So he's definitely a swap. If you're a supercharger though, don't give up supercharger. That's a really, really strong ultimate. So what we can do instead, even though cart is I think around here, we need to go through caves and play high ground so that their rotation or their mobility is like a bit less important now. And it gives us space to then like almost like we talked about on Sanctum, right? We want to keep a lot of space from them. We're gonna put down the shield and the supercharger, and the players behind shield now can freely pressure, right? And if they make the good play and they back off a bit, so that we can't just like delete them with supercharger, that thing has a pretty good range still. So we can still like take a bit more aggressive angles. We can split up a bit, and as long as we're in range of the supercharger, we're gonna pressure them pretty easily. So I don't think we swap right now. We definitely do next fight after we go for that play. Other thing to think about too is if we're going to supercharge, that means you guys are going to build your ults back 50% faster on this next fight. So blowing an ultimate early this fight and then supercharging might also be a good play, right? Because you're going to get it back quicker than normal, which is what supercharge is good at. I think that's more important than it even being a damage boost in general, is the fact that one ulti allows 6 players, or I guess 5 other players, to build their ults quicker, right? So it's just like the king of cycling. That's why like Bunker has an ult every single fight. You try to fight Bunker, like someone has ult, because the one fight where they supercharge, that affects the next like 4 fights for them super well. So yeah, we just take top right here.
Bring it.
D.Va needs to just
Oh,
die.
We'll push this one. Burn
Dude
ult.
is out here.
I'm gonna lie,
Over
just,
behind the
like, walking
billboard.
in.
She back.
We'll burn ult and then go from there.
I'm trying
Or
to get
suicide off
my
of
neck
castle.
real quick.
I'm saving transfer the grass.
Yeah, I got my neck.
Yeah, we'll nano bash once we step on cart.
When he gets on cart.
Zen low.
Yeah, when he gets on cart.
Okay.
Go 3, 2, 1. Jump my heart. Halting.
He was alone on right. He was alone on right.
Go.
Orbs on right, orbs on right.
No.
Helping you up.
Nice.
Yeah, they came up behind.
Orbs on D.Va. Trancing.
We still on. Zarya all the way behind. She's really high charge. Nice ult.
We probably overkilled there a bit, to be honest, but
She's all the way behind, baby D.Va.
because this comp's
I'm
not
just
going to be
gonna
doable the
leave her,
entire time.
leave
It's a
her,
good
leave her.
team, so we're looking to swap anyway.
If she gets her neck, that's just charge.
Good job, guys.
She's all the way behind. I'm just following her.
Just let her.
Yeah, I know.
Kill her now. Good job.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough.
Okay, this is good. We want D.Va top now, here or here, to vision split whenever the next fight starts. So if they come out of point and or out of top and try to focus our Bastion on point, D.Va has a really good angle to either hard matrix.
I think I do go up top here.
Okay.
Good job, Wolf. Alright. There should be one down.
We basically want you to
Make
be
sure
big.
mortify when Ryan
Like, you getting shot at is a good thing.
Just run
Yeah.
away.
Okay.
Just spamming
I'm
this
trying with
hallway.
some space
I
right.
don't think you should put Bastion here at this point either, because his LOS is really bad for the remainder of the second point here on this section. Like, he has a kind of a hard time peeking over this ledge. So they maybe will just come out, and if he's still on cart, he gets like walked on and he dies before he can rotate. You probably want Bastion like over here on the left under that like spire thing, like the pillar with the whatever, like the boardwalk. He probably plays over there, under it, on top of it, whatever. Just away from this. This is bad for Bastion.
Space right now.
Oh shit, I fell off.
I think at this point we're just using Bastion kind of as bait.
Break
We
shield, break
saw
shield,
that
break
their
shield,
team
break
wasn't
shield.
really doing anything but
Orbs
pushing
on
on
hard,
the
orbs on hard.
Bastion.
I just bombed this.
That was a terrible push from them. I don't know what they're doing. It should probably be the other way around though. Like, you want your off tank to be bait, and then your Bastion is like,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
I'm the stall in there. Zen, come point. Zen, no armor, Zen, no armor. Kill Zen.
Orbs on Ana, orbs on Ana.
I mean, they already messed up the cap. You guys, I mean, they already messed up the test. You guys already have. They shouldn't even be dropping it at this point into a losing fight.
Kill him, Zarya.
And even if they
Better.
win it, you just respawn
Need
5 feet over.
Made it.
Kills D.Va.
Alright, he was on cart.
Good shot, guys.
Get back.
So Bob.
Alright.
I'd probably swap Ursa at this point.
Yeah, I switch over to Ryan.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
Hey,
I think
don't
after I
put,
die, I switch over to Ryan.
hey, don't put peek the corner until Bastion sets up.
Oh
Oh,
fuck.
bad shield, bad
And
shield.
They're holding. They're coming up here. They're coming up here.
Still
We're
some
gonna
combo. They're
drop.
playing with.
Okay,
They're
shield down.
playing bad goats right now.
Fortify, he's gonna charge.
I booped him off, kind of.
Orbs on Ryan, orbs on Ryan, orbs on Ryan, orbs on Ryan. I can't hear
Nice
you.
fire, nice fire. I'm killing Zen. I got Zen.
Kill this on
Run on the ass shot.
Zarya one,
Oh,
Zarya
nice.
one, Zarya's one.
Good job,
Kill him, run one.
D.Va discordant.
Run literally one. I don't know.
He's out of mag. He's out of mag.
Orbs on her.
I almost got my bomb.
That's ambitious.
Orbs on her.
That is the
I
nade
almost
of the
got
year,
my
honestly.
bomb.
Good plays.
Oh, Nano.
Nano the Bastion whenever he holds. Oh shit. Good job, Wolf. Good job, Wolf.
Nice.
Driving us
No.
Sleep.
Try to use no more ults. Think
Yeah,
we
no
got
more.
it.
We got this.
Deep point.
Shield this, shield this,
I got
shield this.
trapped in this, I got trapped in this.
Nice. Kill
Where's
Zen.
that guy
Got Zen.
Push up, push up. Push up on me.
I still got bomb.
So my problem with this comp now, and why I said this probably won't work against a good team, like an actual strong team, is they keep either messing up the recontest or they recontest your guys' cart from the most like blatant angles ever that gives you like ample time to pressure them out. But like on this in particular, like on third point, all they'd have to do is go when they respawn, towards their back door, the one right back here that they walk out when they respawn. They go up the staircase into Armory, the orange room, and they could just rotate all the way over to this door, right to the right of us, right here. Okay, right on top of us, and just clash on your Bastion almost immediately while their Matrix is on top of their Rhine. And our Bastion can't get any early pressure off in the entire 2 seconds that Matrix is up, and if he uses it correctly, he can extend that Matrix for up to 4 seconds. If your Bastion is rotated correctly and we played against it correctly, yes, Bastion won't be on cart. He'll be further away like we talked about. But that still means they can just have their Diva Matrix the Bastion from anywhere, and their team can clash on us because we don't have a tank. We're missing a tank in place of the Bastion. So if they rush one of our tanks, we probably lose that trade. Once they get that pick, if their Diva calls like, okay, I'm out of Matrix, they might back off for a second, let it reset, but they're still up a pick. So they just can continue doing that, and it gets easier and easier for them to stay longer and longer every time they get a pick. And eventually the Bastion, runs out of space, runs out of places he can rotate. If he did rotate somewhere, it becomes less and less efficient as the fight goes on. I don't think this comp is able to work all the way through. I do like this comp, actually. Like on first point, especially because you can very easily make your own space. And if they're holding train cars or something, you can Hanzo scout that, and you know that they're doing it. So you don't have to make the mistake of trying to make space when you don't need to. You could swap your comp. I actually liked it on first point. On second point, even on the first half of second point, not too bad, as long as we keep snowballing, right? But if we didn't have 5 ults on that first team fight we lost on second point, yeah, you would probably swap. You'd probably swap into goats now, because this is a comp that, A, like I said, has a hard time getting back in, but B, also needs space the entire time. So I don't think this comp works the entire time against a good team. I think especially on third, that rotation, them going into Armory and coming out and dropping on you guys is probably going to kill you, which is why I said as soon as third point started, we probably swapped to Ryan now. I don't like this on third, but the first 2 points, not too bad.
I got trapped in this.
Nice. Go then. Go then.
Push up on me.
I still got bomb.
Give him a drop shield.
He's shield down.
He's just low.
On a right side.
Oh, no. Shields will sleep. Nice. I got bomb.
I'm going for a shatter up behind.
He's
Mine's fine.
No, orb's on him,
Ryan
bro.
asleep.
keep sleep. Lucio point.
You're welcome, my bad. Orb's on Winston,
I got Lucio.
I'm on right behind.
Lucio point. Right, no, nice.
Nice job.
Him is spinning.
Falls on him.
Anna asleep.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay, we got 2 minutes left too.
That's fine.
Oh, I was resting in the beginning.
Score 3-0.
I'm gonna switch onto the Rhine for last point.
Let's
see the right?
Yeah.
Did you guys
I'm
play
on top of the bridge.
Stormquake comp here? Yeah,
Okay.
Pharah,
Let's start with
Orisa,
Pharah
Mercy.
top, yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
You're switching from me to Farah.
I think we played it too long, but
Yeah, you don't want to play it after first point at all.
Oh, I'll stand down here actually.
Mercy, can you give me 1 quick damage boost right here? Actually, never mind. I don't need it.
Alright guys. Let's call out targets.
Get it.
Diva. They're going bastion.
Diva no DM.
Divas half.
Bastion half.
Diva.
Right there.
Spamming shield.
I need help.
Nice. Stole him, set up.
Nice.
Zen one.
So now their mistake would be to continue to try to play that comp, because they can't retake, especially when the card's this far away. They'd have to walk way too far, and you guys would pick them out. Now you guys have a good amount of space. You've taken everything away. They haven't gotten a single pick. You're wanting to see some crossfire here in pro play at this point after you win this first team fight. You want to see your DPS kind of being a bit more assertive, a bit more aggressive with their positioning. You do have the Mercy for res. You don't want to like over peek or anything and just keep peeking the same angle as a Widow over and over and hoping the shot hits. That's how you get yourself killed. But until we know what they're swapping to, we assume they're still in this, so we play aggressive. And if they swap to something that can contest us, like they swap to their own quad DPS, then maybe our Widow backs off now, right? And she plays behind the wrist of shield like normal, or our Ashe, whatever. But until we know what we're swapping to, and like we all tab and we check and go, okay, they're playing quad, or okay, they're playing goats. Just assume you can take space now.
Holding, right side.
We're good.
Alright, come back.
Set up.
Good.
Nice pick.
Alright.
They went Ryan.
Come back, pull back a little bit. Pull back a little bit,
They
guys.
have a widow.
Yeah,
Pull back a little bit. Lunchbox, pull back a little bit. Lunchbox, listen.
Sorry.
Widow half out.
Okay, this is good. So you guys recognize the Widow as a big win condition for them. That hero alone can pick any of the 4 DPS you have. That was good.
Harp, she popped up again.
Halting up, halting up, halting up. Moving shield back. Moving
He's
shield back.
bottom
Yep.
left.
Widow behind rock.
Runs half, runs
Nice,
half.
nice,
shit.
nice.
Moving shield back. Moving
He's
shield back.
bottom
Yep.
left.
Widow behind rock.
Runs half, runs
Nice,
half.
nice,
shit.
nice.
Bringing shield.
They're not playing a shield break comp, right? I know they have the Widow. What else do they have? They have a Rhine.
It looks like they were playing goats with Widow.
Okay, so Kariba, you want your shield actually to be about as far this way as possible. You know what I mean? Like you want to cover this entire bridge so that your teammates have as much LOS as possible. Because like the way you put down 2 shields now has been kind of conservative in a way that made me think that maybe they had like a Bastion or something still, because that would make sense. Like, you know, if you expect your shield to get broken at some point, you do want to be close to like natural cover so that you don't take damage when shield breaks. That's how you want to play that. But if they're playing a Widow, they're most likely not playing a shield break comp. So we want this to be as wide as possible to benefit our win condition of like our snipers and our Pharah if she needs to drop down for heals, being able to use like all this space over here, like this F, to get better angles, get better picks, and so we can see further down this way, close to the rocks. If that makes sense. But right now, like they're still playing that angle, but honestly, you guys shouldn't be, because they have a Widow and our shield's like this. So a lot of times when you guys are peeking, you're peeking out of shield placement, and you're risking getting picked every time. And we'd rather on defense play conservative and get less picks than play aggressive and get more picks. Like, because we talked about it before, on attack they have to get one single pick, and that sets up the next team fight to be very great for them. On defense, we have to get picks over and over and over and over just to stop them from getting a good team fight. So it doesn't really favor us. In that sense, you got to play kind of conservative on defense, or more so than you normally
Runs
would.
half, runs
Nice,
half.
nice, nice.
Breaking shield. Breaking shield. Breaking shield.
Sorry,
breaking shield.
sorry, going around left.
Halting. 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 Halting.
Can't see.
He's coming straight into her team. She has no
Res
bubble.
down. I have res.
Right now.
One.
Gonna res it.
Zen one.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah,
Res.
there it is on the Pharah.
Widow's
Moving
main.
in,
She's
moving in,
one.
moving
She's
shield.
one.
Move. Halting. 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 Halting.
I have out. I'm gonna save it for when they do a hard push.
Sorry, slow. Sorry,
That's good. That's a good call.
Move back a little bit. Move back a little
Hey,
bit.
pull back. Yeah, pull back.
Give him space, give him space.
He's a little bit too far up.
Overextended.
It's,
I've seen 2 POVs from you guys now at this point, like from different players, and no one ever presses tab. Like, you should be tabbing all the time during downtime in Overwatch. Like, there's so much to think about. What else do we have, and how do I play around that? What else might they have? Did they swap to any heroes? What players in their team are dead that I might not have seen the kill feed? Because they'll show up gray on their side on top. Like, you guys don't really do that too often.
it's we can't.
They're staying on
But
this.
in pro player, if you guys watch pro streamers, you probably see like every 5 seconds it's just tab. If they're respawning the entire time instead of watching kill cam, they're just tabbing. Right? Maybe they watch kill cam if they're trying to get better that day or something, and figure out what they did wrong. But most of the time, they're just in like a ranked mindset or something, so they're tabbing. Or if they're walking back from spawn and they know that they don't have a pick hero who can like do cross map damage, tab the entire time until they get to like an area where they need to start focusing on, potentially getting picked or something.
They're staying on this. As soon as they get a dive, we gotta play hella safe, guys.
Move back a little bit. Move back a little bit.
Yeah,
Move
pull
back. A
back.
little
Pull back more.
bit. On me. On me. On me.
I'm gonna try to go for a flank
I'm
barrage.
playing on the roof.
Okay.
Come with you or no?
Let me-
Don't be afraid of out.
There,
Zen?
should we have stayed in our position or should we have moved back like we did?
So this is a bit different than capture in that normally if they're playing a comp like this double sniper that benefits from space, you wouldn't want to give it to him. On payload, we can't do anything about the cart moving for the most part. Eventually it gets to the point where part of the cart is around our corner and it makes it very awkward for our DPS to play around it, but it benefits their team because cart heals them. So on payload, I don't mind this too much. If this was like 2 CP and you guys called, oh, they're playing dive, give up space, I'd probably be like, no, that's a terrible idea. Like, you're letting them dive you now. But yeah, this here is not too bad.
I got Zen.
Watch Hanzo, he's upper cave.
Doesn't
up,
fix
holding
huge.
up.
We just 6-man into them right now.
Zarya half.
Supercharger. Supercharger.
Zarya no personal in our team.
Valk's overkill because we just supercharged. I get the idea of like they stack because they do, but I don't like. I think it's a bit much. Like, because we just got a pick for one. It's already 65. They haven't used any ults that make us think that like, oh, they're gonna hard aggress into us right now. So this is a pretty in our favor already fight. Then we supercharge to kind of stop their push a bit and neutralize them because they are starting to get on top of Karibo. But that's, again, now we're like really far ahead in the fight. So then Valk is like super overkill. I do think we should have Valked this fight though. Like we should have said like, because about 30 seconds ago in the map, she said, I'm gonna Valk when they hard push, and that's a good call. And we actually should have.
Played
And we
with
can
that.
use supercharger for later. Yeah, and we keep supercharger.
She's one.
Watch Ana, watch Ana.
Ryan coming in, Ryan coming in. Nice, brush.
Nice.
Left side, left side, left
There
side.
we go.
Yeah, watch the widow
Wait
man.
on bridge.
Oh, what is
Widow
one? What is
behind
one? What is one? What is one? She's getting heals. She's getting heals.
Got her, got her, got her.
I don't want to pick on the person who supplied the VOD, but I will tonight, I guess. Like, when you res, always jiggle your mouse. Like, I don't know if you have a DPI switch, if you play on a high sense normally, if you play on a low sense, whatever, with a big mouse pad, but make sure you're spinning, like your hero model spinning when you res, because it's one of the only abilities in the game that reduces momentum so much, so that if they have like a sniper or a good player on their team, you're probably getting headshot at this point. But if you spin while resing, it makes your head hitbox kind of disorienting, because your head hitbox isn't just a perfect circle. And depending on the skin, those wings are really fucking annoying. We played against GC Busan, which is a top tier Korean team, in scrims a couple times, and every time the Mercy would GA or Guardian Angel to another player, he would spin like really, really hard, like frisbee, right? So our Widow, who in my opinion is one of the best Widows in Australia, very good player, hit maybe 2 headshots in the Mercy the entire block, because the head hitbox is constantly just rotating as she's moving. Like, it's really annoying. That's a really good play.
And doing it here, it's mostly more to kind of get it. Well, how am I spell? I had it, but I kind of like, just kind of like getting used to it. Like, do it all the time. That way,
For sure. 100%, yeah. And it's just good naturally to res like this, especially if you have a Widow. But yes, it also helps too to get used to that. I think the way that the GC Busan Mercy did that is like I went into a custom after seeing that, and I was like, wow, that is awesome. Like, I'm surprised I've never seen anybody else do that. And then I realized like it's pretty hard. Like, being able to GA to something and keep like your orientation and be able to still recognize what's going on, and also make sure that like you're 360ing perfectly so that when you land on the target, you're facing the same way as you originally were. That can be kind of hard, to be honest. Like, especially if the target's really close to you. That's when you need what? Oh, a controller? Yeah, for sure. But like it does take practice. I think it's so good though, because our Widow just had the hardest time the entire scrim headshotting.
I have a
On me,
question.
on me.
Was it good to res Farah here? Because we have like picks. It was? Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. So normally what would like make it a bad play is, oh, we were winning this fight so hard that I could have just let Mercy, or I could have let Farah just respawn naturally. While I would normally agree with that, in a winning fight, with your guys' comp, you want to be able to, the second the fight ends, get players back up here aggressive, like we talked about, right? Behind the Arista shield, we want to farm them out before they can get all the way up here, right? So we need all of our players, or as many players here as we can. And Farah is probably going to have more consistent impact than the Widow, if that's the argument you want to make, or the argument you want to make. But either way, I think resing one of these DPS is fine. I don't really care which one it is. I think Farah is probably better than Widow. Widow has a better chance for getting one shots, but Farah has a better chance for at least doing something always, and that could be breaking ranch or whatever. So you resing Farah is fine. Yes, they probably won't be back until way after Farah's back, but we want Farah up here just spamming them out as they're coming in. So this is fine. It's good.
On me, on me.
You guys.
Since we're talking about with the Farah and the Mercy, should the Mercy stick mostly with the Farah, or should be switching around to each DPS, like damage boosting and pretty much just damage boosting? Should she stay on the Farah full time or switch it up?
Oh, sorry, my mic is muted. Yeah, so I think so. Like, Widow can be pretty self-preservative. You don't need to be on Widow too often, because if Farah at any point is like, oh, I need healing out of nowhere, right? She is going to really need it. Like, you don't really have time in a lot of cases to look up and heal a Farah, or like GA to her and then heal. Because Farah is going to be the most unsafe hero out of the 4 that you're playing at all times. And she kind of provides more consistent value for damage boost than Widow does, because yes, Widow with a damage boost can now one-shot more heroes, but now you're just hoping your Widow even hits those shots, whereas Farah is going to have a hard time missing a rocket on like a tank comp. So she's probably better to have it in general. Only time I really change it is when my Hanzo's playing behind shield 2 and he says like, hey, damage boost, I want a Stormbow, right? Because damage boost does impact Stormbow quite a bit. And I'll do it then real quick, or I'll have my support do that real quick, and we go right back up to Farah. You know what I mean? So in general, just because she's the most consistent DPS and also the one who's most likely going to get picked, you want her kind of attached to the hip. That being said, with them playing a Widow, like, I get why you're up here now because Widow's dead, but there have been a couple times Farah when they've had Widow like position pretty aggressively and you're peeking over shield. But in Swordblade comp, you play about as much behind shield as your snipers do until Widow's dead.
Should be fine.
So yeah, she's mostly attached to Farah the majority of the time. And
What do you
Hanzo
have
wins
to
Stormbow,
rescue?
in my opinion.
They have Ash now? Widow Ash?
What do you add to Ridge? To res?
If you guys play who is your 4th DPS? Farah, Hanzo, Widow.
Soldier.
Soldier.
Is it soldier? Okay, so the soldier, no, you don't ever damage boost him. But if you play the Ashe, sometimes you can make the case for damage boosting Ashe over Pharah, and Pharah plays very passive the entire time, like just sits by and shield, and goes for that consistent like rocket splash damage or just shield break. Because Ashe does get pretty good impact from damage boost. The ability to one shot stuff whenever she's damage boosted is kind of ridiculous because of her rate of fire. I think that's kind of OP, but yeah.
I'll try to use visor to bait out.
What do you think? How many seconds? Watch Widow top right.
I need help, I need help, I need help.
Zarya cave, Zarya cave.
If that Widow goes down, I can visor.
I need help, I need help, I need
Zarya
help.
behind, Zarya behind, still scrap.
I need help.
I'm backing up, I'm backing up.
Kill something.
Trying.
Right, so here's where we're really missing into the supercharger or the Valk. But we used it to fight before, so we don't really have anything to contest this hard nano push from them.
Oh man. Alright.
Widow one, Widow one.
They're gonna get it, just
Zarya's half, Zarya's half.
switch to goats.
Switch to ghost, let me get this visor off.
Unless we can
Calling
take it
soft
back,
goats
we
is
can't
fine.
take it back. Oh, we still got
Take him
people, we
point.
still got people.
Okay, we got the trance out with this. That's all.
Okay, Soldier's still
That's
here.
all I was
Soldier
going
said,
for.
let me
Goats
keep,
or
or let me use Visor
Yeah,
and
switch
swap,
to
but he's
I have to
up
stay
there.
soldier
As you
or I
should,
can
even.
die.
No. Okay, so now you didn't die on cart, so now you just swap. Like Visor against goats is so hard to make useful. Like it really can just suck. So we don't care about Visor. So
I
we
honestly
just swap
thought they
like
were gonna
goats.
kill me, so I was just doing it to get their trance out before I switched.
Yeah, that's good. But you didn't Visor yet. Like I think you should have definitely Visored.
No, I visored
before
for
you-
that trance where he
Oh,
popped
did you?
trance.
Because in
Yeah, right
comms you're
before it.
calling like I need to stay. So I don't know what you mean by that.
We still had visor on this one.
No,
Yeah,
I used
for
visor
sure.
right there.
Lunch, there you go.
Okay, but if you use Visor there, you should also die cart. So that
Okay.
the
Yeah, I
secondary
just
respawn we
didn't
can
die
swap.
cart.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. That's
Send
fine.
goats.
Yeah. And still alive,
Wait.
so
Why aren't you? Okay, hold on. Do you guys have kill cams on in scrims?
I think they might have had him on.
Okay, yeah, don't do that. Also, why aren't you showing up? That's weird. Maybe that's a
so go.
Titan is playing
okay. It doesn't.
Oh, that was a switch screen.
healer. That's my bad.
Wait, do you want Ana or Lucio?
You're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Just be careful.
Self Widow.
Yeah, Titan, you're
Well,
gonna go
well,
back.
I'll let you
Yeah, kill cams
play.
in scrims is like easy.
Yeah,
mode,
actually,
and
I'm
it
gonna
makes
keep
it way
the
too easy
Hanzo.
to track.
Lunch,
Okay,
remember,
okay.
you're always playing.
Yeah, it
you're
was
always
the
playing-
what's it called? The new guy after they quit, and they all quit. The new guy just kind of set it up
gotcha.
and know what he was doing.
Okay.
playing off tank.
Okay.
Oh wait, that may actually be.
Just
Zarya's
switch
half,
too.
Zarya's half.
Nice.
Zarya cave, Zarya cave.
If that Widow
goes.
Just making sure it wasn't quick play settings.
Sorry.
Here.
need a break.
When you get in, regroup. Ready.
On second point, you should
we
just
should have
assume they're
double
gonna
sniper.
snowball.
Mhm.
So like we never fight until you have 6. On a first team fight at second point, you never fight until you have 6, unless like someone is just definitely caught. Like for whatever reason, maybe you got forward spawn and you're like, I shouldn't have died on cart. Then that player can die on cart, but that's way different than fighting as a team. Never fight until you have 6 on the first team fight.
Shield went down.
All right. Push up.
I was just
push up on
wondering
that
if he
push.
wants to.
So right
on
there,
that,
I
on
know
that.
Lunchbox was asking about switching off, and I know he wasn't here probably last time, but what we talked about was the off tank always switches off to Diva in case we need to switch the dive or something else, and we'll have the DPS on.
Zarya. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Titan, you're gonna go
Yeah,
back.
I'll let
it's
you.
just that we already had 3 tank, and I was wondering if he wanted to go tank instead because we didn't have that man healer yet, and I assume that he doesn't play healer. So
Well, we still need Brig though, is the thing. Like
yeah,
if
I
you
know.
yeah, so and it doesn't mean that you need to go Brig, but we need to swap into goats. And like we should have been able to swap into goats before this fight ever started. Us not being able to do that like leads to something else. It may have been the players who got forward spawn needed to die on cart, and so they could respawn as the right hero, or if you could get out, come back and swap to the right hero and we start the first fight. But we definitely need to be on goats for this first fight. If we're not, it doesn't really matter like if we do okay in this first fight. If we still lose it, all the ult charges that we retained or like that we built that fight are kind of pointless. So like any hero who's not already on a goats hero, you may get 90 to ult, but like it's not like you can just stay on your hero because you're 90 to ult now. Like you still need to swap. So it doesn't really mean anything. Like we still need to swap into goats, group of 6, and take this first fight. Like period. No matter
I'll let you play.
if it gives up an extra 5-10 seconds on cart time.
So with goats, our DPS switches to Zarya and our DPS switches to Brig, correct?
Yeah, DPS Zarya, DPS Brig, off tank still D.Va, because then if you swap off goats to dive, your off tank can stay on D.Va. But Zarya and Brig would never be played in dive, so it doesn't matter if we change them or not. You know what I mean?
We can actually maybe keep the Hanzo.
Lunch.
Okay,
remember,
okay.
you're always playing off tank.
So what's gonna happen here is if we lose this fight, we're gonna go, okay, I think we really need to swap to goats, and it puts us just further into a pit because now we have to build that ult charge up on the hero who didn't swap in the first place.
Okay, okay.
Push up, push up.
I was just
push up on
wondering
that
if he wants to. Okay, okay.
Push up, push up.
I was just
That's
wondering
good.
if he wants to.
A good shot.
Orbs on Ryan, orbs on Ryan, orbs on Ryan.
We should have been W
Right,
king
right,
already.
right.
Sorry, Darful charged up top.
Ash got me. Double sniper.
Second, we have 6 against double sniper. We got to go. Like we need to just get in because we talked about it last time. It's just war of attrition. They want to burn you out and go for as many chances for a pick as possible. So the longer we wait, the worse it gets every single time, no matter what.
Do you want a widow?
Yeah, we should monkey goats
Counter.
maybe.
And you can decide sometimes to have your diva go contest the snipers. Sometimes you can go like, yeah, we're not really. Let's just rush down the tank. There's a lot of options, but all of them involve W king.
All right, let's
No, we got
regroup.
the dark tank.
Everybody here, everybody here.
Break.
We need to get in. We need to
Their
get
team
in.
made a
Everybody
mistake
here.
of only putting one on
Yep.
cart for a bit. They could have actually capped by
Yeah.
now, to be honest. You want diva at the back here and matrixing full team out because they're playing double sniper. So you expect there to be a player here or a player here. That's the combo. Or a player here and a player over here. That's a combo. Or a player over here and a player far over here, and that's a combo itself. It's like we're expecting one of those two positions, or one of those three positions from their double sniper comp. So if we walk out right now, we just get crossfired and we die against a good double sniper, against competent, let's say they're world-class players, right? Because that's what you want to prep for. You're getting headshot at this point. It's just going to happen. So we want diva at the back to negate that and matrix full team out, and then we can get on cart. And regardless of whether they're playing top or they're playing out, you know, whatever. We've already gotten out of the hard part. So now the rest of it's kind of cake. We exit here kind of nonchalant. We had 5 meters to play with. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you play the game enough, you realize how much 5 meters can be. Like how much.
What is one? What is
I'm
one?
no sleep. I'm no sleep.
Or I guess not play the game enough, but the more you think about it.
Got the Ana.
Hammer over the hammer, hammer.
Goes in back.
Orbs on Ryan.
And we just get wiped.
Alright, that's theirs.
That fight's probably going to be a loss anyway, but it probably could have stalled that fight out for quite a bit longer.
Okay, make sure we pressure the widow.
So here it is.
Third
Third point. We know because we talked about map geometry. Third point really favors control comps. Looks like we're finally starting to swap into goats, but at this point it's too little, too late. You may even still full hold, but this 315 right now should be like a 130. Like, and that's just an okay play. You guys win some fights. This could be a full hold on second point.
As well.
Yeah, attack. On me? On me?
Yep.
Fire striking? Fire striking? Fire striking?
Back up.
Healing Ryan, healing Ryan.
Orbs on Reinhardt. Orbs on Reinhardt. It's
Shields low, shields low,
Back on
because
Reinhardt. Back on Reinhardt. He's half. One.
91. Be careful.
You're
Play
right.
fast.
Still has-
Play
he's
fast.
still
It's very hard disengage as soon as they nano. We're not going to win that trade. Oh, I lied. We have trance. We should be popping this.
Ryan dead. Ryan dead.
Still
Play
has-
fast.
still
Play
has-
fast.
Okay. If you had trance before you died, you definitely trance. If you had trance after you died, like maybe you died at 99, can't blame you. But definitely if they nanoed, we trance because nano gets dunked on by trance. Like it does nothing.
Have trance. Okay.
Ryan
Or at
dead.
least
Ryan dead.
nano
Ryan dead.
Ryan.
Get his
Trance
Zarya.
doesn't
Right
have
charge.
Potential.
Send dead. Send dead. Send dead. Honor dead. Honor dead.
Zarya one. Nice.
I don't
Honor
have
dead. Honor
Okay,
dead.
if we win this fight,
Yeah, the Widow's
Can't
just.
hear you,
I don't
can't
know.
hear you.
Tier 3 Overwatch, boys. There's
They got
no
double
way they
sniper
should lose
main.
that.
They don't have nobody
Yeah,
else.
we
left.
won it. We won
That's
that
fine,
fight
that's
at
fine,
least. And they just snowballed the shit out of us.
Alright.
Okay.
Good job, guys.
I have nano.
All right, so I
Alright. Good job, guys.
I don't know if I
Okay.
talked to you
Okay.
guys or if you even talked about 66 before at all, but this corner up here is the best corner in the game, in my opinion, for defense. Like the ability for you guys to aggress down the hill, and if anything goes wrong, W or S key back up the hill and play on our side of this corner means it's very, very hard for them to chase. So we have so many chances to misplay, and we can't get punished if we play it correctly, right? That corner is so good, but if we give it the space to him, we can't play that corner, and then they technically can. We don't care about it too much because we don't have to chase them around the corner because we're on defense. If they want to keep backing off, whatever, burn your time back out. But for us on defense, that corner means the world. It's the best in the game, so we want to be able to abuse it. So we need to be up there very aggressive right now, denying that space from them so that we can kind of bully them off of it in
Alright.
between fights.
Good job,
That's
guys.
where you want to reset to.
I have
Yeah,
nano.
six
I got a
kills. I'll try not to bomb.
Hey, watch left room or left hallway. Orbs on the way, they're in the back.
Guys, you have to stay behind shield.
Orbs on 9, orbs on 9.
Pop slap, pop slap.
Oh my gosh, I had missiles going. I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Okay, how's Widow hitting 3 picks
Orbs on
now?
9, orbs on 9. Orbs on the way, they're in the back.
Guys, you have to stay behind shield.
Orbs on 9, orbs on 9.
Pop slap, pop slap.
Oh my gosh, I had missiles going.
Back.
Guys, you have to stay behind shield.
Orbs on 9, orbs on the way. Orbs on the way, they're in the back.
Guys, you have to stay.
Hey, watch left
On
room
that one,
or
I
left
saw you
hallway.
jumped up right there.
Okay. Yeah, we need to be
then I
breaking
got-
LOS and just hard engaging onto their team.
I'll try not to
Them
bomb.
keeping Widow here is ridiculous. That's a really bad call. Don't ever keep Widow on 3rd here. In this meta, at least, that's really bad. But we should know not to peek or ever give the chance for the Widow period to go for that shot because she has one shot potential and we don't as goats for the most part. I mean, our Zen does, but that's really inconsistent. So we should just be going, okay, they're coming, 3, 2, 1, engage, whatever, and just get on top of their team. This Widow pick is so bad. Yeah, I don't know. We can't get picked.
Try not to bomb.
Hey, watch left room or left hallway. Orbs on the way, they're in the back.
Guys, you have to stay behind shield.
Orbs on 9, orbs on 9.
Pop slap, pop slap.
Oh my gosh, I had missiles going. I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Orbs on 9, orbs on left hallway.
Really good angle for you to play
Orbs on the way, they're in the back.
to Diva is on top of this like stack right here. I don't know what you call it. Just like some shelf really. You can play on top of that with fly, and so whenever they come through main, you're vision splitting like a full 180 vision split. And we talked about this before, right? If they try to commit onto the Diva with like Discord and Zarya charge or Discord and like shots, our team is not getting focused, so we just rush them down. It's even worse for them. So you're kind of playing bait. I get they're playing double DPS, so you staying up there too long just means you get burned out. But if you're playing up there, this Widow over here right now is afraid of getting 1v1 in a close space by a Diva. That's never a 1v1 that a Widow wins, so she has to just leave. It's like she has to respect that. And she can't peek that corner because at any point you could just drop down and micro missile and kill her. So we kind of want you here right now. Yeah, so just a small thing. That's a really,
Hey, watch left room
really
or
micro
left
thing.
hallway. Orbs on the way, they're in the back.
Guys, you have to stay behind shield.
It's not going to be a
Orbs
dead
on nine,
horse,
orbs
but
on
she
nine.
shouldn't have gotten 2 picks at
I'll
all.
slap, I'll
Should've got any
slap.
picks.
Oh my gosh, I had missiles going. I'm sorry, it's
Now
my
we just
fault.
SK out if we can. If we can't, if there's
I can
at
transfer.
any point you feel like you can't get out, you just always
Diva
die
bomb
card.
and grab.
Always. That's always just the rule of thumb. If you think there's any chance you
Diva
might die, you
bomb,
just
and
die
then I'll
card.
shatter.
I don't like this. I think. Okay.
Fault.
Around here, when we're SKing out, we should be talking about like, okay, they have this, so that whenever they use grav, we go, okay, they have grav and they have this follow up, they have X follow up. So to beat X follow up, we're going to use this specific support ult. But we never talked about this, so we double support ult here, and it really shouldn't happen. Against grab bomb, you trank because trank can block bomb if you play it correctly. Against grav, most of those things you beat.
I can
Except for
transfer.
the dragon.
Diva bomb
So
and
would you
grab.
think it would have been better? Look, we're low there. We're all low.
Yeah.
We're pushing. We're pushing S. Should we have pushed W and just died and then? Because regardless, we're gonna.
Especially
could've-
okay, if you have already called that they have grav, right? You already know that you've lost 2 players and they're in one shot potential, or they're in one fight potential of winning the map. So you would definitely down card then, because then you're going, okay, let's make him try to burn out the grav and like try to bait him. Let's try to bait him into using an ult that he didn't really need to win the fight, but he's going to use it because he wants to get us off the cart because they're in one fight potential. So they'll probably use it, honestly, even in pro play. But he didn't have to. So like that'd be a good call from you guys. That's really big brain, and that's not like an out of the world call. Like that's definitely something you probably hear pretty often. And you could have done that. If it's more something like, okay, they're gonna definitely grab and use this, then I could definitely see you guys still trying to S-key out of this because you probably can't get out of it with S-key. You guys are low, but if we use one support ult, whether it's trans or beat, we probably live here. Because they got to keep players on card. They can't full commit to this grab where they risk us respawning as 6 and taking another fight. So I don't mind you guys S-keying, honestly, here in particular. I wouldn't mind you guys W-keying in the cart either. That's a good point from you. But the fact you guys double support ulted means now, yeah, you'll probably live this grab as long as you guys hit your double support ults in time for nobody to die. But what are you going to do as soon as the grab ends and you're already missing 2 players and you don't have any support ults now, right? So now you're really far behind. That's a big thing I don't like.
Diva bomb, and then I'll shatter.
Wait, are you guys playing? Okay, I don't know how to notice until now. Don't play Lucio on a Zen ever. Never play that. It doesn't make sense. You guys are stealing ult charge from each other, like for one, and you're all playing heroes who need ults. Like you're not playing Lucio Zen Brig. Brig is not a healer, right? Like she's like a DPS who by chance heals every now and then, and like they're not consistent heals. You never know when you're gonna get them. She has an armor pack that barely heals anything, and it only happens every 10 seconds. Like she's not. I hate that people call her a healer, and I hate that people pick her like as a healer in rank because she's not a healer, right? So like the idea of, well, I don't want to play Brig. We need 3 supports. No. Like Lucio Zen is always enough healing. Lucio Ana is always enough healing. Lucio Mori is always enough healing. 2 healers is all you need in this game. It doesn't matter what 2 healers they are. If people tell you they don't have enough heals, no, they're playing the comp incorrectly. They're doing something wrong, right? Brig is picked not because she's a support, but because she's completely broken. Like Shield Bash is OP, Flail is OP, Rally is insanely OP until next patch, and still probably next patch OP. Like that's why she's picked. She's not picked because she's a support. So never play Lucio Zen Ana. It's not good. There was a week in tier 3 or tier 2 Overwatch where Path to Poverty, one of the 4.5k teams, was playing Lucio Zen Ana when the patch had just shifted because Brig had gotten nerfed a bit, and they wanted to see if they could bait teams into trying to figure out how to beat it. But then teams realized, oh, all we do to beat 3 supports with like 3 actual supports is pick Winston Goats and W counted them so hard that their supports don't matter or their healing doesn't matter. Don't ever do this. I don't know how I didn't know this until now. But yeah.
Diva bomb, and then I'll shatter.
We're gonna play 3 supports, quote unquote.
Mine slept.
Wanna do it?
Go in.
Whatever got me.
That's fat.
Nice. Put us still up?
We burned too many ults. But we're good.
Yeah.
Titan, nano me.
I tried to call. I'm just gonna Zen out on grab earlier, but
Okay, we want one of our off tanks top or up on truck now. Since we do have Zen and Ana, you probably want one of those players there too, and the other support crossfiring. We're playing backline.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Am I nanoing the Ryan?
Yeah. Whenever they come in, nano me.
Would we have pushed up further, or we would have
Don't
played
play
further
high ground.
back?
No, you guys don't. You guys do want to play this far back this time because they're very close to capping. So if something goes wrong, like normally, you can push so far up. We talked about it earlier. Selfless. If you die, you get back to cart before they get there off of respawn. But this is not a map or like a section of the map where that's possible. You know what I mean? You guys have to be like literally in their spawn doors for that to work on this this section. So here, I don't mind you guys playing all the way back because no matter what, this is going to be, if you lose this, last fight. If that makes sense.
Come back, because we need you back here.
And playing further back just implies that you get better map geometry because you can use like more corners. You can force them to come further down the hallway so you can burn them out a bit longer than normal. Because they have to just kind of face you the entire time. And if they get our shield low, whatever, we got to sit back there anyway. If we get their shield low, though, we've set back their push for quite a long time. So you guys playing this far back right now is not too bad.
Need you back here.
Let's say the cart was up here on that really good corner we talked about. Then you guys could play like honestly, you guys could go into their spawn and spawn trap. Because then if you lose that fight, it doesn't matter. You're not within 1 fight territory. The cart still has to push all the way over here. So you're definitely gonna get a recontest either way. And you can force them to like use ults to get out of their spawn and things like that. But yeah, here if you lose this fight, this is map over.
They're pulling, they're pushing. I need heals.
Yep.
My nano. Wait.
Oh
There's on the
shit.
Zarya.
I was.
I'm down.
I thought we'd do late. My bad.
So to clean this up quick enough now, they're gonna play aggressive angles
I
with their
got Zen.
tanks and their DPS, and us trying to get back in is gonna be next
Going
to.
to Doom for
We may
stall.
touch for a second, but it's not gonna be
You're not
fight.
gonna be able
Play.
Nah.
Ryan can touch.
Come on, I'm in.
So there he is, but he's gonna get hard focus. He's already won.
What's on you doing?
God damn.
Now Lucio's next.
Sorry, one.
So yeah, not even a real fight. We're pulling out time, but
Yeah, and I felt like a lot of these maps that we were playing, we kind of just, you know, I'm not gonna say we played the greatest, but we played a lot better than we're usually playing.
yeah.
And at the end, we kind of just gave it away. It'd be it first map, second map, and third map. We just kind of gave it away, and I don't know if we
Okay.
got complacent or got a little bit too
Get up,
cocky.
get up,
on
get
it.
up.
Coming back. Speeding in.
Switch to May.
That's fine, they got it. That's the was that we can't. I didn't hear you. That's why I asked.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Did you guys play out the full map?
No, they got
Yes. Yeah, they put out the full map.
Good
And on
enough.
this,
Heals.
like we were talking about earlier, me and the group, we were saying that they kind of were expecting us to go for DPS and Orisa Mercy, so they kind of knew how to play it already.
Okay. So we're not gonna watch this out then.
On gas.
Progress.
Gotta see the
Progress.
bomb though.
Remember what he said. It's not
The
dive.
bomb. We won.
It's play for alts.
And you guys said Volskaya was really bad, right?
Yeah,
No,
really
yeah.
good.
This is when there are people
He's
left
really
and
good.
over there.
Oh, this is where you guys start giving them your own players.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll probably call it that, guys.
All right, guys.
This is where
So
there's Zen.
Always,
fucked us.
always.
all right, we're attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Trip. Right. Ah, these are the guys you're talking about. Okay. From earlier.
It could triple dive.
You guys have
depending
any
on
questions over anything we went over tonight? Or like anything you wanted to ask before we call it?
One question about how you said on Route 66 where I hold up in high grounds like that.
Yeah. It's called
Do I
vision splitting,
do
right?
that for specifically like just Route 66 or mainly like
No. That's goats versus goats.
Okay.
There's so many different places on so many different maps where you can do that. And if your team, so I'll talk about this real quick, just as a note, because if you do this incorrectly, it'll fuck you up. If you go for a vision split before the team fight starts and you give away that you're playing there, what they're going to do is they're going to discord you and they're going to burn you out before they ever push. And they're going to make you either leave or you're going to try to fight there and stay there as long as you can so that you don't have to fly back up later, but you're probably going to give up a lot of health and that's not going to be worth it. So you don't want to give up the fact you're going to vision split before the fight, right? You want them to come in and our team's on top of their team and the fight has started and they can't, just get out for free anymore. They've committed and then you peek. And you're like, okay, what are you guys going to do now? Because I'm right above you. So if you want to leave, you got to all leave or I'm going to burn you out. That's how you want a vision split to work. You cannot peek early for the most part. Against anything other than goats, right? Anything with a DPS, the problem is across the map, a Genji hits you for 72 damage. Kree hits you for, even with damage fall off, a pretty good chunk of damage. Widow obviously hits you for 120, right? So all those heroes who have cross map potential and they can shoot you before the team fight starts and their team's like, okay, no problem, just burn out the diva. And then the fight starts, right? With goats, there's really no hero other than Zen who's going to punish you across the map. And as long as you don't peek the Zen, you're not really worried about it. Goats also has very limited mobility, right? The only hero with vertical mobility in goats is Diva. Okay, and if a Diva flies into you, that's just a Diva 1v1, and you're already controlling the space. So, who's going to win that? Probably you. So against goats versus goats, vision splitting is very, very strong. If you pick good places to do it from, where you're not going to get yourself killed. Against most other things, vision splitting ends up with you just feeding ult charge, because they have something like a Genji or a Widow or whatever that can shoot you across the map and has vertical mobility. And if you try to 1v1 it, they just walk away and you can't. I mean, they get healed, and if you chase, you die. So that's something to keep in mind. There are a lot of spots where it's really good, and there are a lot of spots where you're gonna through trial and error figure out, oh, that's really, really bad. Never do that again. And it's kind of hard to get them all down, but once you do, your impact on a team fight is insane because from a vision split, your headshot accuracy is increased from verticality. The fact that you can matrix from behind them, so they never know when they're getting matrix, makes it very hard for them to do specific things like grab, shoot the volley before it gets matrixed. Like if they're playing Ana, throw a nade in, whatever. So that's really good. And then you can do stuff like boop their Rhine behind our Rhine, so we get free shatters. There's so much you can do from a vision split, but you're gonna feed a lot while you learn how to do it. Most likely, almost everybody does.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Nothing here.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I just think next time we'll run it on a different person's point of view.
Yeah,
we can switch it up
for sure. Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, we'll go ahead and call it then. As always, I'm gonna be at my computer all night coaching. So any questions you guys have, just hit me up.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you
Appreciate it.
guys. How many more games do you guys have in open? 2? Are you not? Wait, what was Oh, I thought you said this team that you guys scrimmed was an open team. All right, well, whatever.